Tell me a little bit about your background with art. Have you been doing art for a long time, Audrey?
No, I wasn't really involved with the art experience at all until I was 76. And I didn't open the gallery till I was 86, against a lot of advice.
So, you're an emerging artist?
Yes, yes, I am. Well, I painted for 10 years, and then when I started the gallery, I got involved with that, so I didn't fully emerge.
Then you had your coming out as an artist.
Yes.
Um, so, what was it that led you to pick up art? Like, why all of a sudden at 76? Were you retired? What was the circumstance?
I had moved to London from Toronto. I'd lived in Toronto all my life. And I got here and I had retired and was, people keep saying, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And I thought, I think I'll try a little painting to see. That would be fun. So I did, and away I went. I painted the growing up stage of my life in Toronto at, I guess the ages would be 9 till a bride. And it was all from memory, everything about Toronto and the Danforth.
So you lived all of your life in Toronto?
Yes, till I was 75.
What did you do in Toronto before you moved to London? What did you do in Toronto before you started here in London with art and painting?
You mean art in Toronto?
No,
No,
well,
just what did I do?
Yeah, just generally, what was it that you were doing in Toronto? Like you had a family, or
Oh yeah, I did the bride thing after the war.
you were a war after
Yes,
the war?
I was, and raised 4 little boomers.
I hear they're great people.
Oh, that's what you said. You gotta be one. It was a time. It was a different time in life, and women were emerging a great deal, of course, from that time. And we began to do strange things when our children were in school, started to go to work and to start our own businesses, which I did.
Revolutionary at the time.
Yes, it was. And your friends of many years were not always happy that you decided to do these things and step outside the mold. But it was time, and
So were you
worked
self-employed? Were you self-employed?
yes,
in
I
Toronto?
had a company. It was called VIP Offices, and it was one of the first in Toronto. I think it was the first, and it was office rentals, and then we supplied telephone answering and secretarial and photocopiers and all that kind of thing. And then someone, usually a male, would come in and rent an office, and we would treat it like his business.
Yes.
So it was in its own way. What am I thinking?
Well, so I would add here that you were a little bit ahead of your time, because now we call that innovative office sharing.
Yes.
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 And so where was that building?
I was in Don Mills,
In Don
Ontario, and I had I rented 13,000 square feet of office space, and it was divided into 41 single offices and then a large working area.
Wow.
And it was all, actually, it was all women working for me who just wanted part-time work. They were still not at the point where they were free enough to work full-time. They just wanted, we called it 9 to 3 when children were in school.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know my mother, she'd get me off to school, she'd go to work at her part-time job, and she'd be home by the time I got
Yes.
back from school.
Yeah.
So that worked out perfectly.
Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah.
I never had any trouble employing anybody.
But you were ahead of your time as a woman entrepreneur. There weren't many at that time.
No, there weren't too many. I must say, you regard it as strange
Or unique.
that that you would want to do that. That was the thing, is why would you want to do that?
Why would you leave so much for so little?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, well, I guess it was wanting, but it was something I had to do. I was pretty much unemployable because I had too much to say.
A woman of many opinions.
Yes, all right,
Yes.
everyone.
So then you retired, I would presume, and that's
Yes.
when you made the big move from Toronto to London, Ontario, and that must have been a huge adjustment.
Yes, it was. It
It-
really was.
yeah.
It,
You would have felt a great deal of loss and unfamiliarity and loneliness without your friends and your co-workers.
yes, and because of my background, I didn't fit in. So you have to be prepared for that.
Yes. Which is a lonely place to be.
Yes, yes, it is. But it's a better place to be sometimes.
Yes.
I don't know how to explain that. But I met a lot of people here, but once I started to paint and began to meet the art community here in London, I felt I'd come home, so I was happy.
But you had to build a place for yourself.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Nobody gave it to you.
No. You have to step out there and prove yourself in
Yeah.
a lot of cases.
And very often a new life is built one relationship at a time, or
Yes.
one person at a time, and it's not a fast track.
Absolutely not. No. I had the business in Toronto for about 25 years, I guess, and it was still a learning process. And, but the world was changing, and it still is, of course.
Yes.
But the art world really appealed to me, and I love it,
Yes.
quite frankly.
And it also looks to me like, and I'm only conjuring up an opinion here that may not be right, but if you came from a business environment and you came into an art environment, was it also a matter that you were just not only discovering art, but you were discovering color? And because I noticed that your work became very, even though you called your work urban folk art, it was strong, saturated color.
Yes, that's true. I hadn't thought about that. Because looking back on the 30s and 40s, when you imagine walking on the street and so forth, I used to think of it all as gray.
Great.
No particular reason, perhaps because there were no colored photographs at that time, and so everything was gray. But when I started to paint, it was really like going back to being a child again and seeing the colors that you see when you're young. As you get older, they fade quite a bit. But it was wonderful, the transition to see. I would put these little figures in, and they'd have names and dresses and so forth. And it was like cutouts.
It was like playing cutouts, except you were drawing them.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
So there. What did you in redeveloping yourself? You gave you. It was almost like a rebirth,
Yes,
and you would go back to a childlike, a simpler time, a simpler time with simpler images in
absolutely.
your art, and
Yes.
then it's almost like coming full circle
Yes,
with that kind of transformation.
yes, absolutely. Everything from that time became very real, and the more I painted, the more I remembered, and it wasn't just colors in painting and events. It was the smells and
And the story,
yes,
the narrative.
stories. Yeah, going to the movies on Saturday.
and you could smell the popcorn.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it was a wonderful time. Really.
Yes. So the painting and the rebirth of your new self through art led you to a new community of friends. Tell me a little bit about your wonderful gallery here. Who do you work with?
We work with, I went right to we, that's funny. I work with emerging artists, rising artists, all from London and southwestern Ontario. And when I first started, there didn't seem to be a gallery where they could show their work, which, and I thought, well, we must be able to do something. So I guess it was pretty much like the other. I just began to go to the art clubs, and I met more people, and I had an opportunity to get this space in Talbot Center, and you simply hang the pictures, and then you wait for everybody to come and buy them.
Well, I keep remembering you standing at the door with the big hook. That was your marketing campaign.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Yeah, and we had to pay off too many insurance broken legs.
Had to bribe too many people. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just enjoyed the artists and their talk and their ideas and the creative side of the whole thing so much that I guess I finally feel that I fit into a certain world.
Well, not only do you fit into a certain world, but you have developed a new community.
Yes, it's a great community. We have volunteers who work and hang the work here and hang it. There's, I think, 13 or 14 of us, and we come in on different days. They volunteer and hang work and sell it. Sometimes they work here painting, and it suits us.
Yes. And I notice over time that a number of the women that started with you were really starting something new
Yes.
in retirement, and now they're busy and doing
Yes.
paintings for offices and interior decorators, and they've got quite a little business going for themselves.
Yes, they do. Some have planned their retirement. Others, it comes as a surprise, like it did to me.
Yes.
It was a surprise, but they want to produce something. They want to have a reason to be for themselves.
Yes. Something
Yes.
that's meaningful and has purpose.
Yes, they have families and homes and all that, but something within that they can enjoy
Yes.
and show people.
Now, sometimes when I walk by, I see that you're sitting here and there's always 4 or 5 people sitting around you. I keep thinking, there is Audrey and she's holding court again. There she goes again. But you've been mentoring quite a few people
Yes,
on the business aspects.
yes, that's true. How they the progression through the art world. Some people think you can make a very wonderful, lots of money coming and flowing, and you can live with it and so forth. And we talk about that and talk about artists, and we call it art talk, which is not very creative, but it's the truth.
But it's the truth. So, what was your last question, Chris? Sorry, what was your last question when you asked Audrey to name 3 things? Which 2 would she remember?
Oh, if a genie gave you 3 wishes, what would 2 of them be?
Oh my
You can
God.
keep one of them secret.
So so in this perfect world, as we move into our new post-pandemic reality, and you have 3 wishes, what would 2 of them be? You have 2 minutes.
3 minutes.
Yes, 2 minutes.
I am surprised to be as old as what I am at 94, but I would like to keep going as long as I'm in the art world for another 10 years.
So 1 wish would be another 10
I would be
years.
another 10 years to enjoy it. Number 2. Would a new car work?
And a new
My
car.
muffler fell off.
Your muffler fell off. So a Lamborghini or
Oh, yeah.
that would be good. So a car and another 10 years to enjoy your friends and your art.
That's right.
That sounds really good. Thank you, Audrey, very much.
Thank you, Daphne.